Hey everyone, Daniel here, and welcome to Chapter 4, The 7 Wonders of Abundance. And no, we're not going to do a gratitude list this week, thank you very much. I prepared this chapter last Monday in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we've been ordered into another mandatory statewide shutdown of all non-essential businesses. And all of us have been asked to self-quarantine for a minimum of 2 weeks, which means no personal gatherings at all. So if there's an abundance of anything right now, it's anger and frustration and uncertainty on every level. Last week, we took a deep dive into the heart of our anger in Chapter 3, The 7 Wonders of Power. Alchemizing anger for the fuel that it is requires us to respond to anger's message and calls to action. By taking personal responsibility for our anger, we release anger's power over our lives. We are less angry all the time because we are acting on behalf of our own dignity and our self-respect, which is exactly what our anger serves to protect for us. Many times the action we have to take involves the acceptance of things that are beyond our control. Sometimes we just need a good cry. And of course, there are times when we realize our anger may have hurt other people, and the action step is to make amends. As the moon waxes with more and more moonlight, our energy sharpens. Our sleep patterns become disrupted. Our dreams become more vivid, or we go long periods of time without actually sinking into REM sleep patterns. Our senses heighten. We may see things that we don't necessarily want to see, let alone look at for an extended period of time. That's why we took a deliberate walk into our broom closet last week, to see what we've thrown in there, to see what we've forgotten and what we want to hold on to, and to discard that which no longer serves us. This last blue moon that we went through delivered tremendous change. On a global level, we have a clearer picture of who we are now. We know where we stand, and we know what work needs to be done. I firmly believe that the rise of witchcraft is a response to the trauma and the energy of this moment in time. Witches across the world are being summoned and switched on right now for a reason. And we need to answer this calling in open, reverent earnestness. For this reason, our concepts around abundance, more specifically witchcraft, need some attention and perhaps reevaluation, if not a complete overhaul. Okay, witchcraft is dangerous. In my experience, those who throw this warning at me are usually self-righteous, hypocritical, narrow-minded individuals who are clinging to their own limited power, negative core beliefs, and dark magic wielding. I don't know which is more offensive: an uneducated, apocalyptic, fear-based Christian, or an all-knowing, seasoned, but hypocritical witch whose talent for casting shade and dismissive shame on others plays more prevalent than casting meaningful spells into the world. Nevertheless, the statement, "witchcraft is dangerous," carries a dual, if not dire, message. Witchcraft is powerful, and power is dangerous. But the messenger has also implied a darker purpose when using these words against us. The purpose is to shame. The purpose is to imply that we're too naive, too incompetent, too silly to respond to a serious call into the art of witchcraft. Witchcraft is dangerous, especially if you try it. That is the full meaning of this sentence. Its intent is to block you, and it will if you let it. People who have a belief that power is finite often try to block others from attaining any. These people are rooted in greed and limitations. Witchcraft, like driving a vehicle, takes practice. We get better and more comfortable with driving with time. Our attention and our intuition expands with experience. We learn to watch for others when we drive, when to speed up, when to slow down, how to anticipate other drivers' actions, and how to avoid accidents. In terms of direction, we can choose our own route, we can choose our own destination from a huge master map. And on this map, there are a lot of different places to see, and there are a lot of different ways to get there. Of course, all of this depends on the vehicle you're actually in. Are you on a mountain bike with 2 wheels or a Mack truck with 18? The same kind of negative conditioning and verbal assault happens to many contemplating a life in the arts. A young person announces a desire to become an actor, only to be met with a litany of verbal assaults and myths about theater folk. Hope you're ready to spend your life broke and disappointed. You better take a job waiting tables as a fallback. Forget about a love life and family. And yet everyone, no matter who they are, generally acknowledges that creative talent are in fact gifts, and that gifts are divinely, if not mysteriously, inspired. Collectively, we seem to harbor contrary beliefs around creativity and magic, more specifically around the divine. Most of us believe the divine is good, too good in fact, to deliver abundance. A spell to bring compassion is an easy reach, but casting a money spell or a true love spell, that's going to require a lot of sacrifice and a lot of suffering. Literally blood, sweat, and tears. Same is true for an artist. Yes, God gifted you with immense talent, but don't expect Him to flood your life with sustainable work, resources, let alone a stable, loving partner and family. We are locked in this one way or the other, you can't have it all belief system. Because we will never have a true gratitude list without first making adjustments in our attitude list. So, let's get right to this week's task and spell work. In Chapter 1, we began excavating the dark seeds that over time developed into self-imposed curses and negative core beliefs. The stigma, misinformation, and contrary accounts of witchcraft throughout the ages has pierced all of us, consciously and subconsciously. Knowing the full extent of how this information impacts your belief system is for you to tell, and only you can know. So it's worth exploration. Grab a pen and your Shadow Pages journal and finish the following sentences as fast as you can. I'll just go ahead and read through all of them. Again, this list is in the blog associated with this chapter, so you can refer to it. Read through it real quickly. Number 1, people who claim to be witches are. 2, witchcraft makes people. I'd have more money if. My dad thought witchcraft was. My mom always thought witchcraft would. In my family, witchcraft was. Witchcraft equals. If I practice witchcraft, my spouse partner would. If I could afford it, I'm afraid that if I practice witchcraft, I would. My divine higher power is. Witchcraft causes. My divine higher power will. In order to be a better witch, I need to. When I use my gifts, I think my gifts are. If I weren't so afraid, I would. People think I am. Being afraid tells me. Contemplate these answers in your Shadow Pages. Just give yourself some time to answer them. Kind of answer them quickly, and then explore them over this next week in your Shadow Pages journal. And at the end of your Shadow Pages journal this week, I want you to write this charm 7 times. My abilities are gifts from the divine. Using my abilities are my gift back to the divine. Write that 7 times every day, 7 days at the end of your Shadow Pages this week. Household amends. In the opening, I mentioned how our anger sometimes signals our need to make amends. We are, in short, angry at our anger for making us angry. We explode in front of other people and or our immediate surroundings, including our pets, familiars, spirit guides, and our beloved belongings. Let's face it, pent-up people and pent-up anger don't mix. Depending on the heat of the moment and the situations involved, An amends to another person, be it personal or the bozo responding to your customer service support call, can be a matter of taking time to cool down and come back with an earnest apology. The more impersonal amends can take the form as living amends. Be more patient and cooler the next time you encounter customer service. Accountability for your anger earns and expands respect. But deeper interpersonal wounds require deeper thought, and we'll cover that in Chapter 7, The 7 Wonders of Compassion. This week, our focus is on abundance, which means focusing our attention on where we are. Stop right now and look at what you're looking at. Is it your laptop, device? Now look around a little more. What's near you? Coffee cup, cigarette, a bong, flowers, pillows, a lamp? Scan your space. What's in the room with you? How do you feel about all the stuff around you right now? Most of us love our lamps but hate our phones, and it shows. Or to put it bluntly, we show it. I stumbled onto the following technique over a year ago when our relatively new refrigerator stopped making ice. After a few service calls, we were advised it would be cheaper to go buy a new unit rather than waste the money on fixing our old, although still new, refrigerator. So the verbal abuse began. It started out as slight jabs. Wasted money, not built to last, to all-out hate bashing. You stupid, worthless piece of shit! Slam! Of course, that's when the water dispenser problem started too. We would leave the kitchen only to return to like massive floodwaters. It would just suddenly decide to spew water for no apparent reason. But not ice. This went on for months. Until one day, I happened to be in the kitchen when some other random kitchen object pissed me off. I yelled, and the fridge began dispensing water. But just as I turned to rage at it, I felt something. It felt like helpless fear, and it was coming from the refrigerator. I nearly brushed it off as quickly as it hit me. I mean, I'm not going to show that piece of shit any sympathy. That's ridiculous. Then I realized that verbally and physically abusing it was more ridiculous. Generally, when something is already malfunctioning, hitting it doesn't fix things. When we originally bought our new fridge, I loved it. It was part of our kitchen, part of our home. I realized that I loved my fridge, and that maybe if I entertained my hunch, that fridge loved me just as much, and really wanted to be a helpful, meaningful part of the kitchen, our happy home, and our life. So I started by putting my hand on the fridge, on the side where the ice maker and the water dispenser was. And I just said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Heal. Just heal. And the water stopped. And I just started crying. I really did. I mean, it matched the water that had spilled out of that fridge so many times before. Ever since, that water issue rarely happened, and it seemed to only occur when there was tension in the house. And occasionally, right after I did that, the ice tray started dropping ice. It doesn't happen all the time, but it usually does happen when the energy is especially high. We're feeling good in the house. And we'll hear the ice tray fill and then drop, and we're like, wow. So try to make peace with your stuff. I mean, granted, it's easy to, it was easy to make amends with the fridge. I'm not speaking to my phone yet. Amend and animate 7 inanimate objects. List 7 inanimate objects that you scream at. Pick at least one and apologize to it. Make it meaningful in your own way and consider your object to have the same consciousness of a beloved pet. When we allow ourselves to love the things we love, we allow the things we love to love us back. This is personal abundance. Take some time to look at everything you've surrounded yourself with. The objects will tell you something about how you treat yourself. Take this practice into a vision quest. If you can't break bread with friends and family, then try having a day cooking with and entertaining for your stuff. Seriously, if you have an automatic coffee maker but never use the timer, try setting up your coffee to be ready and waiting for you in the morning. Have candles set and waiting to be lit. Have your pipe cleaned and ready with a fresh bowl. Beyond that, animating your objects and talking to them as if they were alive with consciousness will flex your psychometry skills. Let the stuff you love tell you that you're loved. Next, 7 private collections. Magic and psychic energy thrives in an environment of imagery and extrasensory stimulation. In the same way an artist must fill the creative well with a steady flow of inspiration that only comes from noticing all of life's small but dramatic details, witches too need a steady frequency of art to transport us to the shadow realm, to raise energy. Hopefully you came across some old books, records, artifacts, or drawings while cleaning out your broom closet. Maybe you're an artist yourself and haven't practiced your hand in a while. Create your own 7 private collections list. This can and will be a mix of media formats. My private collection includes the complete works of William Shakespeare, the complete works of Oscar Wilde, a collection of Fleetwood Mac on vinyl, and some original art hanging around the house. Again, if it's been a while since you've engaged with your art collection, read a great novel, or listened to your favorite piece of music, choose at least one item from your list and go for it. Experiencing your favorite art in your space will alter the experience of your life and your magic, because it helps raise, focus, and maintain your energy field. Music and shadow dance are mandatory. Remember, the better you feel and express with your body, the more you can trust what your body feels and expresses back to you. 7 sticks and stones, natural abundance amends. If it's feasible, take yourself on a walk in nature for an hour. As you walk, pick up a mix of sticks and stones along the way. Be sure to take a backpack or something to carry your harvest in. And of course, be sure you're able to collect natural objects if you're hiking in a state or national forest, public beach, or park. When you return home, make a special abundance altar with your 7 sticks and stones, and let it remind you, as a witch, words really do matter. Optional incantation, better yet, create your own. Sticks and stones protect my bones, and my words cause harm to no one. I know it's tough right now. Try to be kinder to yourself, and try to be more patient with others. All right, that wraps Chapter 4, The 7 Wonders of Abundance. Be sure to continue with your basic tools every week in addition to all the spells and assignments of this week. You want to make sure that you're doing your shadow pages every day. 3 pages a day, longhand journaling, just brain draining, get everything out. The one thing to remember about your shadow pages is that they are not for you to read and they are not for anybody else to read. At some point later on, I am going to ask you to go back and look at it so you can kind of track your progress and you can kind of line up and see how you were feeling along moon phases, because you'll be able to track that too. The other basic tool that I want you to practice every week is to do a shadow dance. Remember, you start with small dance and you kind of let yourself be a pendulum, because you're getting in touch with your body. And then you want to follow your shadow. Let your shadow lead your dance for about 15 more minutes. Do it longer if you want, but at least 20 minutes spent engaging with your shadow. The other assignment, it's really the hardest one to do, but you have to get yourself out on a vision quest once a week, even if you don't leave your house, because a lot of these tasks, I'm giving you a pretty good list of, things to do that are well within your reach. Probably right now you can pick up a book and read it. Do things like this to take care of yourself. All of this information, the transcript for this week's chapter, and all the spell work and the assignments, they're associated with the blog for Chapter 3 at daniellink.com. Go check that out. The 7 Wonders blog on daniellink.com. Don't forget to also check out the digital witch box that is on the blog. Have something different thrown in there every week. A lot of times it's going to be links to my music. If you feel so inspired, please go check out some of my music. I also refer a lot of my friends, some of the musicians I've worked with. I'll probably do some shout outs to some of the guys I follow on Instagram. But check that out. My special thanks this week goes out to my husband, who's not only contributed to my magical life, but the happiness in my life. And but he's a great guy, and he's actually helped me intuit a lot of the information that is coming through the 7 Wonders as well, because he's been on this path for me, and we've known each other, been together for 22 years. So very special thanks to my husband, Ralphie, and for being a part of this week's lesson and several other lessons throughout my life. Join me next time on a special night, the next full moon, which is Monday, November 30th, as we launch Chapter 5, The 7 Wonders of Territory. It's also going to be a lunar eclipse, so it's sure to be a very intense, if not interesting, chapter. Until then, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you at the rainbow's edge.